The music genre jazz is a type of folk music derived from West African slaves with French and Spanish influence. Jazz was dubbed as America's classical music, being made in New Orleans from black, white, and Creole peoples. Jazz started to emerge in the late 1890s. People called it the Jazz Age. It represented a joyful and celebratory type of music, but would ironically be played in funerals. It included brass and wind instruments while also featuring drums. It was at first performed on the side of streets to pedestrians crossing by or in small gatherings. Today, New Orleans jazz can be heard and enjoyed in music festivals, some nightclubs, and at their infamous Mardi Gras festivals. It is based on chord progressions and piano scales that correspond to the piano chords. Technological advances influenced jazz growth, such as phonographs, jukeboxes, and radios, which inspired many new genres of music that are relevant in today's society. Jazz today thrives in the form of hip-hop, rap, R&B, and smooth jazz. The music genre characterized prosperity and exciting times. It is known to be one of the most revolutionary styles of music and prevails to this day. It came to be after World War I, and it was a form of expression in the black community as a protest for their shared struggles and nomadic lifestyle. Today, it is not only looked at as a reflection of America's cultural diversity, but also as a perfect picture of freedom of expression through musical improvisation.
The West Coast blues is a very different style of blues that was established during the 1940s. African Americans migrated and moved westward from the States and brought their flavor to the table. Blues and jazz are very similar and produce other genres of music, such as piano blues, which was first introduced from Texan artists. This is very relevant because jazz and blues were combined to make new music, which further proves the lasting effect jazz has on music history.
Jazz was a style of music that was mainly created by African American culture in the early 20th century. Its styles come from many different types of music put together, with the main ones being the blues, spirituals, rhymes, marches, ragtime, and that's just to name a few. When jazz began to quickly pop off, it was hard for the first jazz musicians to even perform them because they were not able to afford the instruments for it. But with the creation of jazz, it was a sort of art for people. It gave the people a way to express themselves through music. With how famous jazz became, it was a staple for all of today's music. With the first origins of jazz came the blues. Blues is an African American music genre that emerged from the Deep South and influenced music, which was also highly localized in the African American community. It was presented as a form of expression, trying to convey their blue feelings and similar struggles through music. The blues was first performed informally in street settings, such as on the street as a way to get money or at a neighborhood event or gatherings. During the Great Depression, when the blues fell out of favor, great artists like Louis Armstrong, Charlie Parker, and Duke Ellington turned the blues and made it positive and uplifting, keeping the genre alive and prevalent. This is relevant, explaining how artists in the genre participated and created a genre that had an everlasting effect on the music world. This provided meaningful expressiveness and cultivated a newer way for people to dive more into their originality and personality. The blues had emerged from the 1880s from both the African and European aesthetics, which was started through their spiritual attachment. The blues developed over time by the advancement of technology and musicians and other genres of music with creativity. Jazz also evolved over time while they expressed themselves through music, talking about their current social, political situations or lifestyle. Creators were often derived from the lowest class, facing the worst case scenarios, while also maintaining the ability to sustain through their music.
Jazz is such a unique thing that it has lots of roots and many different traditions. It's something that has been constantly added to. Jazz will come from musical traditions from West Africa. The original music would be heavy on rhythm rather than harmony or melody of the music. From researching it, it has helped me understand the roots of jazz. With the creation of jazz, it gave the African American a way for them to express themselves for who they truly are. When working in the fields, people would harmonize and sing all of the blues they knew. There were many ways a colored person could express themselves, so when jazz was created, it was a perfect way for them to do just that. Jazz helped ease the hardships African American people went through, eventually find their way of escaping from reality and doing something they love. Jazz is such a unique thing that it has lots of roots and many different traditions. It's something that has been constantly added to. The original music will be heavy on the rhythm rather than harmony, melody of the music. One of the great artists who acted as a pioneer for the genre was Louis Armstrong. His unorthodox style led him to being so popular, even being widely known to this date.